Okay, so most of my story times offend people. I might as well just do another one and offend some more people. Basically, what happened was I went on holiday with my boyfriend to Portugal, and I do feel slightly bad about making this video, but I laughed so much that I just started crying, and every night I laughed about it, and I tell people the story and I still laugh uncontrollably because it was just so funny. And when I tell the story and I tell people that sometimes don't find it funny, then they just think I'm being awful. But you guys asked for more story time videos, so here is another one. I went on holiday in July with my boyfriend, and we went to this almost like this outdoor safari park type thing, and we took his grandparents with us. So his grandparents came with us, and the dog was in the car as well. So me and Joe were at the front, he was driving, I was in the passenger seat listening to the music and had my sunglasses on. We're driving down this little windy road, and it was sort of a bit gravelly. We went to stay with his grandparents, and they had a dog, and obviously they don't have a car, so they don't get to go out much and they don't get to do much travelling. So because we hired a car, we kind of thought, let's just take them everywhere, so it's a little bit different for them. So Joe's granddad was sat behind him and Joe's grandma was sat behind me. The dog was on the granddad's lap. So we're driving down this little road. It's really, really hot. We've got the aircon on, but Joe really likes to have breeze in his face. So all the windows were open as well, apart from mine, because my hair gets stuck to my lip balm, and that really annoys me. So we had the aircon on, listening to the music, and I'm just like casually looking around the car. So we're on this road, it's a bit gravelly, and there are some horses like on the side outside. We're on our way, I think we've just come from a safari park, or we're going to a safari park. And we're driving up these little hills, and it's all quite scenic and beautiful, and the weather's just absolutely incredible. I kind of looked to the side. One minute I was kind of looking at Joe, and I was just like fiddling around with his ear, because that's sometimes what I do when he's driving, just to irritate him. And I caught his granddad in the corner of my eye, and he was like having a little nap. The dog was like just chilling on his lap, and his grandma was looking out the other window, which was like behind me. We're driving down the road, and there's some horses, so we slow down to like look at the horses, but we're still going quite fast. So we're going like somewhere between 40 and 50 miles per hour. So I'm looking to the side, and I just happen to like look towards the dog, and the dog's like leaning its head out of the window. And we got to the horses, and the dog just like leaned its head out of the window, and I kid you not, it just like fell out of the car. Like literally just fell head first out of the car. And by this point, like 3 seconds has gone past, and nobody has noticed that the dog has fallen out the car apart from me. But for some reason, I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh, the dog's just fallen out the car. Like, oh, okay. Why is no one saying anything? And I turned to Joe, and I was like, his granddad had basically fallen asleep, and his grandma was looking out the other side of the window. And I said to Joe really casually in my sunglasses, oh, you need to stop. And he's like, why? And I was like, because the dog just fell out the car. And he was like, no, it didn't. Because he was like, why has no one said anything? And I was like, well, you do need to stop. The dog's just fallen out the window. And I just suddenly, realised, actually, the dog had just fucking fallen out the window. Like, something needed to be done. Why was I being so casual about the whole thing? It literally just leaned forward to look at the horses and fell, like, front first. It was, like, too top heavy. And I was like, why is this so funny? Like, then I just started laughing, and I was in hysterics. And his grandma said something in Portuguese, and then Joe was like, oh shit, the dog's actually fallen out the window. I was like, yeah, I just told you that. He's like, oh, you said it so casually, I didn't think that you meant it. And I was like, no, the dog just fell out of the window. And his grandmother apparently is saying in Portuguese, oh, the dog's gone. As in, like, the dog decided to jump out and go for a wander. I'm like, no, the dog fell out of the window. It was leaning forward too far and just like toppled forward. Then Joe obviously slowed down once he realised what was going on. He kind of slowed the car down. He looks in the rearview mirror, and the dog's like just desperately running back to the car for its dear life. But by the way, the dog is absolutely fine. I just couldn't stop laughing. I'm sorry, it was just the funniest thing I've ever seen in my whole life, with this little dog just like pedaling back towards the car. The dog was absolutely fine, but when we got back and we told everyone the story it was like Chinese whispers. The story got translated to, oh, the dog decided to go look at the scenery and jumped out the window. I'm like, no, I saw the whole thing. The dog fell out of the window and then we just carried on driving. So then what happened after that? Every night after that, I would have this random like fits of laughter. I literally could not stop laughing. So randomly the next day, we'd be walking to the supermarket and I'd just start laughing. And Joe's like, are you thinking about the dog? I'm like, yeah, because it was funny when you saw it. Like, you had to physically be there to see the dog like leaning out and then just like whoop. And it was just the funniest thing. And I know that people are going to think I'm awful because I'm laughing because the dog fell out the window. But it wasn't harmed. There was no other cars on the road. It was just really funny because for a split second, I didn't realise what had happened. And I was being really casual about it. The dog is fine. The dog is amazing. The dog's name is Tiku and the dog is just so cute. But the dog fell out of the window. Like, it actually just fell forward out of the window. The funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm really surprised that I'm not in stitches. But now I'm thinking about it. It was like months ago that it happened. The story gets less and less funny every time. And now I'm aware that I just sound like a really awful person that like deserves to be jailed for finding this so funny. But I promise you, it was just the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. But the dog is absolutely fine. So I'm not being awful. I'm going to have to film another Storytime video because I'm just like running out of mojo for these videos, and I don't think I do it enough, but actually I really enjoy telling this story about the dog falling out the window. So yes, that is my story about the dog. No one else finds it funny apart from me because I saw it. So thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know if you would like any more Storytime videos and I will think of stuff to talk about.